Hello and welcome back to the sewing chapter. If you're new here, thank you so much for subscribing and following my channel. So I went through my closet the other day and I came across this lovely garment that I never ever wear. I mean, I love the colors, I love the fact that it's knit, but I really don't love the style because it makes me feel like my arms aren't free, and I use my arms and hands a lot. So today I'm going to be taking this poncho type knit garment and turning it into the cozy cardigan. Well, that's what I thought I was making, but sewing sometimes has other plans for us. And today, instead of ending up with a cardigan, I ended up with this super cute 60s style, loosely fitting, fringed vest. Let me show you how it happened. Before we dive into the story, subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying the content. Hit a like on this video with your thumbs up. That would be awesome. All right, let's dive into the story. As I mentioned, my plan was to turn this neglected poncho into a cardigan. I was using the sewing tutorial from Sew Anastasia Sewing Club to guide me through the steps and her adorable cardi pattern to create the pieces. The first challenge cropped up when I realized I was not going to have enough fabric left from my poncho to create the cardigan's long sleeves. I decided to use a completely different fabric for the sleeves. This combination of fabrics was a bit quirky, but it was the closest match I had in my stash as far as weights and texture goes. The killing blow to this cardigan attempt came when I attempted to attach the first pink sleeve to my project. It clipped in okay, but serging left me with an armhole so stretched out and gaping that the shoulder of the sleeve fabric ended up being significantly shorter and did not fit in even close to properly. Before we go on to the victory part of the story, and trust me, I'm eager to get there, I want to describe where I think I went wrong. First, I foolishly did not follow grain line directions for either fabric. Instead, I decided which direction I wanted the fabric's design to flow in. Because of this, I ended up with a vest and sleeves that were super stretchy up and down. Second, I did not take the time to fully test and adjust my serger settings. Now, part of the reason for that was because I simply didn't have much scrap fabric to work with. However, Sew Anastasia does advise to adjust foot pressure, differential feed, and stitch length, and next time I will follow these directions much more closely. So it seems to me lately a lot of my sewing projects end up being less about what was intended and more about dealing with unforeseen challenges and altering the project to end up with something wearable and cute at the end. I'm going to show you in the rest of this video what I end up doing to sort of make this project, kind of save this project. So it's not going to be a cardigan, which actually, you know what? I live in Florida and it's hot, and maybe it's not cardigan weather anyway. Maybe I'll just make this a really cute, like, summery vest. And so what I want to do is to add these tassels around the neck. My plan is to use some rib knit, make a binding, and have these little yarn pieces come out. So I'm going to work on that. And then the bottom and the armholes I may bind. I may just leave them serged because I think they look kind of cute like this. It's not bad. I'm going to get to it. Let's save this project. First, I measured and cut strips of this dark pink rib knit fabric that were about 3 inches wide and long enough for my tassel strip. Next, I ironed the rib knit strip in half and then folded it in the same way that bias binding comes folded in packages. I then sandwiched the tassel strip inside the binding and secured it with clips. This is me thinking about whether to sew together the binding and tassels first before attempting to attach them to the vest. I decided it would be best to do it all at once. I matched the vest's center back with the tassel binding's center point and got busy clipping everything together. The clipped up vest is looking so good. Time to sew it all together. here we are. The tassels have been attached with this rib knit bias binding, I guess, or we just call this a knit binding, And I'm really liking where this is going. I love the tassels. I think it's fun. I'm glad we saved them from the original garment, and I think to finish off this project and make it more cohesive, I think I'd like to add the knit binding to the entirety of the bottom of this garment here and around the armholes as well. That's going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to take a little lunch break, get some tea, and finish up this project. Okay. Whoa, that's not good. Let's move that out of the way. So we've got it. We've got a vest here, some kind of vest. And we've got something that's referred to as sea creature knits sometimes. I don't terribly mind. It's kind of girly, a little bit of you know, I don't know. It's got a lot of personality. I like the color. I think the pink is fun. I like the tassels. I've said that before. I think I'm going to not do the pink on the armholes just because I'm worried about the sea creature knit thing happening. I think I'm going to just use like a nice dark blue normal bias binding. I don't need these to stretch anymore. I don't really want them to stretch anymore. They're already huge. So we're just going to go with some bias binding on the armholes, and then I'm going to call it done. All right, I'm all done. The bias binding turned out really quite nice. I have pink stitching in there, which I like the contrast personally. So this is not what I had in mind, but I am happy with how it turned out. I think it's fun.